Hello everyone, this is Kalyan from Blackbox Tech, and in today's episode I will be discussing about ngx-translate. In the last video I have described like how you can utilize Angular CLI to create a multilingual application. But in this today's episode I will be showing another popular module called ngx-translate, which supports JSON, and you can create multiple JSONs based on your languages, and it is also using HTTP loader to load those JSON files on the runtime when you switch the language. So without further delay, let's get started. So first of all, I will create a new project using Angular CLI. So let's change the directory. So the first thing, we need to install couple of node module for ngx-translate. So I will do npm install. The first one is at ngx-translate, the core, and another one will be ngx-translate /http loader, and I'll also pass save to save this to the package.json. So this is installed, and also in package.json you can find this has been added. So translate core and HTTP loader has been added to our package.json. Now the next thing is we need to move to app and then app module. So inside app module, the first thing I will do, I will import those module here. So the first one will be translate module, from ngx-translate core, and the second module I also need to be imported from here only, so that is translate loader. Okay, and the next thing I will import is translate HTTP loader. But this is from our HTTP loader. So from ngx translate HTTP loader. Also we want HTTP module, HTTP client module here as well. So let's import that. And also HTTP client from Angular common HTTP. So once we import that, the next thing is we'll just put those into our import section. So first one is HTTP client module we need to import, and then the second one will be translate module, and then it will be for root. So remember we have two options, for root and for child. So if you are using a lazy loading, then you need to use for child, and then your main module will use that. So for lazy loading you need to use for child, but as we are in our main module, so we'll be using for root here, for root. And then within that we need to pass our loader. So then loader, and inside that we need to pass the provide option. So provide option will be translate, the translate loader one. And also we need to use factory, and that factory will be creating shortly. So because that factory we need to create, let's just give a comma here. And there is also a dependency, so dependency is HTTP client, so let's create that. So HTTP client is dependent because this HTTP is used by ngx-translate to pull those JSON language files and use for translation purpose. So the next thing is we'll have to create this use factory. So this factory function we need to create, we can create it here. So let's say we are giving a name export, and the function name will be say HTTP loader factory. So we'll be using HTTP as HTTP client, and then we'll return new translate HTTP loader, and we'll pass the HTTP here. Then use this function name as our factory. So for this module, that's it. And the next thing is we need to move to our app component file. So first we'll create, I will be removing all this from here, because I'm going to create a complete new. So the first thing is I can create a div here, and inside that there will be an h2 for an example, and I can create a paragraph as well, and then I have a label, and inside that label I will have a select tag, and inside select I will have some options. So this select tag is basically to switch the application here. So first of all, as an identifier I need to define a variable here. So for an example I can put say language select. So whenever there will be a change in this, so on change event, what we need to do, we need to do translate and use. So this is the variable lang select, I can copy that and then value. So whenever there is a change event, it will pull this variable and use that value. So right now let's remove that, and this option we need to loop. So ng for so keep this portion here. Let's move to our TS file first, because we need to get the data. So in app component, so first thing we need to import the translate service. So let's import that. Translate service, and that is from at ngx-translate code. So say we need to pass this as from constructor, so let's remove that. So inside constructor will be constructing this, say public, and then I can name it translate and translate service, and then inside this I need to do few things. So I need to define the few language. So example, translate dot add language, so I'm adding few the language. So for now this example will add so this is an array actually, so you can see array of string. So this is in, and another will be for example effort, and then so we need to set some default language here. So translate dot set default language, so this is a string, so it will be English, so en for that. And then I need to set some constant, say give it a name of browser, so name it correctly, so browser lang equal to, so translate, and translate have a method called get browser lang. And at last I need to give some fallback. So first of all we can see tell this like translate.use, it will check like browser it will try to match, so browser lang.match, and if it is found some match here, for an example it will look for English and then fr as well, so this regular expression, and if it's match with that, what we are saying, if it's match, then browser lang, or it will be fallback to English as default. So this is here, so it will first try to match this English and then if it's not match, if it's match, then browser lang, or else it will fall back to English. So in the HTML, go back to HTML. Now we have to fill up with our this languages so we have added, so en and fr. So we can declare, so let lang, so it will be take a variable let lang of translate dot get lang, so it will look through it, and then or it will create those options. So for an example we have English and French, so it will create two options, one is for English and another one will be for French. Now inside asset folder I will create a new file, first a folder called i18n. Within that folder I will create a new file for our first language English, so it will be en.json. So basically the idea is to fill up all this text for title, paragraph, everything from that JSON file from the language itself. So for an example, in the title will be inside the h2 tag, and that can be like hello Angular with ngx translate, and the paragraph text may be this demo has been created using ngx-translate, and also so let's create the JSON structure with inside the en.json file. So the first node will be home, and inside that we'll create the first key called title, and we'll just copy the text from here. The second one will be the text. I will again copy this text. Also we need some label for this our select element. Say for an example it will be select language. So let's create a new key for that as well. Give it a name kind of I'm giving a name of select and adding the text as value. So the JSON structure need to be corrected. Now let's bind this text from our JSON file. So for an example, the key node is home, so the title will be home.title, and we'll also use the translate pipe along with that. So there is other way you can also use the translate directive, but for this demo I am using translate pipe. So for the text I will be using the same like home, the main node, and then that dot text, and also pass the translate pipe. And for select I will be using the same way, home dot select and then the translate pipe. In the meantime, I have also created another file copying the end.json to fr.json, and now I am correcting the value attribute binding. So this fr.json is just an exact copy. I have just added the fr value to check if our application is working fine, and later we'll translate the value using Google Translate. So let's start the application using ng-serve. So you can see the default value loaded as English, and the translated value, if I change to fr, you can see the fr.json has been loaded. Now what we'll do, we'll open Google Translate and try to translate our fr.json text with the proper value. So let's copy the whole text and we'll paste it. From English we'll be going to translate the French version. Let's copy it back. I will again translate the body text, and at the last I will translate the select language text. So now if you check our application, you can see this is working correctly. So default is English. Once we change fr this text will load from effort.json. Now if you inspect and see the network tab, you can see that by default it will load en.json at the first, because we have selected English as default language, and when you do the change event in the select element, it will again load the effort.json through HTTP loader of ngx-translate. This way you can actually add multiple language, and you need to pass those in the add language array, and again you need to create the JSON file based on those language into i18 directory, and you can load multiple language using that. Also, I will going to show you another application which is though it's not a free application, but it's very useful to keep sync between your different language files. So this is called Babeledit, and there is an option for ngx-translate as well. So the thing is, you need to just drag and drop your language JSON files into this application. So what I'll do, I will just we have two files, en.json and effort.json. I will just drag and drop those two files in this application now. So once you do that, it will parse the JSON file and will find further similarities. So both the JSON files have similar structures and currently have 3 keys. So it will read like all these things and will try to keep in sync. So let's add a new key. So first we'll configure the default application. So we'll select English as our default language. Now once we add a new ID, say it will be home.test, so I'm creating a new test, and I will add any of the text here in the English language section. And if we click now onto the French part, it will try to using Google Translate, it will try to provide you a translated text, and if you click that, it will autofill that particular section. Now if you save that file into your root application root, then it will also automatically write back to your existing JSON language file. You can see that title has been added in both the file. It will automatically sync and add that title key into your application. So I hope you like this video, and will again come up with a new tutorial next week. Till then, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Have a great weekend ahead.